Welcome to Learn to Program's Quick Bites. I'm Mark Lassoff. On this week's podcast, we're going to be looking at HTML5's Phonegap library. This is a really exciting library because we can make full mobile applications using HTML5, CSS, and JavaScript. Phonegap even allows us to use some of the native hardware on all sorts of different devices. For example, we can deploy Phonegap applications to iOS, Android, Windows 8, even the Mac desktop, and take advantage of hardware like the onboard camera or geolocation. So let's take a closer look at HTML5 and Phonegap in this week's Quick Bites.
Downloading Phonegap is easy. You can just get it from the Phonegap website, conveniently located at phonegap.com. You can click the download link, and that'll download the Phonegap library to your system. There's also convenient getting started guides that give you an easy-to-use API reference that, if you understand HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you'll be using in no time. There's also a new option that's just out of beta for building your Phonegap applications, and that's Phonegap Build from Adobe. With Phonegap Build, you can actually upload your applications to the Phonegap Build website, and once you do, with an Adobe ID, it'll build your application for you for all of the target platforms that you want. A lot of major companies are using Phonegap. You can see here the BBC uses Phonegap for one of their applications. There's also a fairly well-established community that can assist you with problems and difficulties that you have in developing your application. I've already downloaded the Phonegap platform, so let's take a look at the folder. Inside here, we've got a libraries folder, and you notice inside the libraries folder, we've got a folder for Android, BlackBerry, iOS, OS X, Windows Phone, Windows Phone 8, and Windows 8. So we can actually write our HTML, CSS, and JavaScript once and target for all of these platforms. Now, what Phonegap actually does is creates a bridge between your application, which is written in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and the actual native application. So what's nice here is this will build a wrapper for the application, just like I've done here for an Android app. Now, if you've seen Android native apps before, this is going to look really familiar. You've got your XML for the Android manifest, and you've got your normal folders, including your source folders, which inside the package have your Java source, which looks almost just like the Java source that you use for a normal Android application. But you'll notice also we have inside the assets folder a www folder, and in here I've got a JavaScript called Cordova. This is actually the Cordova library, at least the JavaScript side, and then an index file, and the index file can be edited with any of your favorite editors. So here it is, and this is a simple application that creates a hello world. Again, just written in JavaScript and a little HTML surrounding it. So very easy to write, to use, and to deploy apps for any of the major platforms. One of the nice things about the platform is that it's so easy to use. For example, let's just take a quick look at one of the API docs here. Bring back the Phonegap. And here in the Getting Started guide, we can take a look at, for example, the camera. So this allows you to capture an image from the hardware camera. And you can see here it has information about the permissions needed, but basically it's camera.getPicture, and then you have callback functions for success and error, and then a little JSON package with the camera options. Very, very easy to use and do. Now, the downside of Phonegap is that you don't have access to everything that's within the hardware. For example, if you want to use near-field communication or Bluetooth, you're out of luck with this particular library. But for about 90% of the applications out there, this is an option. I would caution you, your CSS has to be strong in order to develop interfaces that look good, for example, on both a full-size iPad and a small Android phone, but it certainly can be done.
Thanks for watching Quick Bites. I'm Mark Lassoff from Learn to Program. To get information about our full HTML5 and Phonegap course available online, visit our website at learntoprogram.tv.